LeBron James likes to compare him and Anthony Davis to Shaq and Kobe.
The size and the power and the speed that Shaq and his size played with. You can look at my game throughout the course of my career, and then you look at the elegance and the ability to shoot the ball and the ability to play in the paint as well, post up, get into the perimeter. I guess you can say that you can have some of AD's game that can compare to Kobe's game in that sense.
That is a bold statement without any championships. Oh, I'm sorry, they did what? Oh, well that's pretty good, but you're still gonna need 2 more for that three-peat. In this offseason video, we're looking at what Rob Pelinka needs to do to create a dynasty. AD will sign an extension, yes, but certain players can leave and they can make a small trade or a big trade. We'll look at both, explain what they should do, and a decision about LeBron James that no one's talking about. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe and notification bells for 5 videos per week, always at 5 Eastern, but also for an off-season video for every team. That is 30 teams, 30 videos. We've got a playlist linked above. Today's is huge. It's the Lakers. But for the teams that we haven't done yet, we're posting the schedule of when those videos are coming out on the community tab, so be sure to hit subscribe. Off-season basics for the Lake Show: cap space, no money. They've got the normal exceptions though. Draft the 28th overall pick. Their needs: whatever holes are left by free agency. They need a third scorer, they need shooting, backup point guard. Relevant free agents: kentavious, caldwell-pope, JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, Markieff Morris. Some of those guys have player options. First, let's get Anthony Davis out of the way because we know he's coming back, but there are still details to hammer out here. Really, AD has 3 ways he could go for this extension he's gonna sign. First, a 1+1 deal for $68 million to be a free agent again next year, or 2022 if he picks up the option to see if the salary cap goes up. 2, he could sign a 2+1 for $106 million, be a free agent after 2023. Or door number 3, a 5-year max extension for $190 million guaranteed dollars. I think he will go with door number 2, and here's why. AD can maximize his future money if he's a free agent in 2023. That means he'll have 10 years in the league, eligible to earn 35% of the salary cap, aka the Supermax. Which leads us to the King James decision. And again, this isn't talked about enough. We can make a whole video on this, but I'll make it simple. We know LeBron is under contract for 2 more years, right? The second year is a player option. He is now eligible to sign 2 more years on top of that, a 2-year extension. The issue is, does Rob Pelinka really want a 38-year-old LeBron James making almost $50 million on his team? I know it's LeBron, but if you have AD and LeBron making almost $100 million together, it would be almost impossible to build a good team around them. What, are you gonna tell LeBron, no, you can't have this extension? No, not really. I guarantee Genie Bus would extend that contract to LeBron. That's how the Lakers operate. They did it with an aging Kobe Bryant. But I don't think LeBron would even take it. His track record is flexibility over security. He probably prefers to enter free agency again in 2 years with Anthony Davis instead of locking into LA for good. Now let's get into the really interesting question: who stays and who goes? The list of who can leave is long. My prediction is Jared Dudley, Dion Waiters, and J.R. Smith are gone, and so is Quinn Cook to not go into the luxury tax. They will bring back kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who played great in the finals, and Avery Bradley will opt into his contract. Then the big questions. I think they only have enough money to keep one of Rondo, Dwight Howard, and Markieff Morris, plus an outside free agent. I think they should prioritize Rondo if necessary. If the Warriors dip into their mid-level exception to bring in Dwight, I would let him go. Rondo not only shut the lights out during the playoffs, he ran the team when LeBron sat, which is huge. He's cool coming off the bench, and the playmaker market sucks. There is a chance that Morris, Rondo, and Dwight all come back, I do expect, though, other teams to force LA to make a tough decision. Now let's talk about trades and free agency, and as we've been saying with the Lakers forever, they need someone else to run the offense outside of Rondo and LeBron, and they need a third scorer. Kyle Kuzma just ain't gonna cut it. So, in free agency, I would target Jordan Clarkson. He's a former Laker coming off a really impressive scoring run in the bubble. He averaged about 17 points, 2 assists, 3 boards, and a steal off the bench against the Nuggets for Utah. He should be in demand, but if the Lakers offer the entire mid-level exception, that would absolutely get him. Another option, DJ Augustin. Augustin is a point guard who can play make and score, especially from downtown. He's not elite at any of those, but he can fill both of those roles we talked about, especially if the Lakers aren't expecting him to be Chris Paul out there. But if they really want to upgrade to get that third best player, they need to trade. We'll look at 3 small and 1 blockbuster trade that works for both teams. Our first smaller trade is Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, and the Lakers' 2021st for Terry Rozier. The Lakers do this to get a strong third scoring option and a playmaker. Rozier split duties leading the Hornets this year with Devontae Graham. He still averaged almost 20 points per game on 40% from downtown. He had a career high in assists too at over 4 a night. The Hornets do this because they could use Kuzma, who can create his own shot, and Green is a veteran presence. Next, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, and a 2021st for DeMar DeRozan. I get he's polarizing. DeRozan doesn't shoot the 3 well. He failed in the playoffs in Toronto, but he is an elite scorer, finally in a role that suits him in LA. DeRozan's not a 1 or a 2 like he's been in Toronto or San Antonio, but as the 3rd best Laker, he would thrive. DeRozan is a walking bucket, and Green and Kuzma don't shoot the 3 well anyway. What are you losing? San Antonio would enjoy another first-round pick, and Kuzma fits. They have plenty of youth in the backcourt, but not enough in the frontcourt. And our last smaller trade is Kuzma, Quinn Cook in the 2021st for Derrick Rose. Yes, this is a high price to pay for Rose, but the Lakers should do it especially if Rajon Rondo goes elsewhere. In a vacuum, I would say just Kuzma and Cook get this done, but there will be a lot of other teams going after D Rose. A good playmaker and scorer on a $7 million contract, those are rare. The Clippers, for example, could offer Landry Shamet in a deal, who is a very good young shooter. But our big trade here is Bradley Beal for Danny Green, Avery Bradley, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, and 2 first-round picks. This trade would make the Lake Show a big 3 and the deadliest team since the KD Warriors. Beal already averaged about 30 points per game as the #1 star. The open looks he would get on this team would be ridiculous. I'm with Shannon Sharp, guaranteed 3-peat. The other ridiculous thing is this trade scenario. There's no way the Lakers could get Beal. The Lakers don't have the assets. This year's first is basically a second. Kyle Kuzma is the best young player, and he's not a game changer. So yes, I think the Bradley Beal trades I hear out there are ridiculous, but that doesn't mean this team doesn't have a championship roster coming back. We know LeBron and AD are in, but after that, the front office has a really interesting offseason ahead. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.